Hello and welcome to Rise and Unwind Orlando. My name is Dan, and I like to bring people from across the country to talk about things you could do right here in your neighborhood. Now, this week's show, got people you might recognize. All of that and more right here in Rise and Unwind.
Ever notice how a clean kitchen can change the mood of the whole house? A new survey says most of us see cleaning as an act of love, and it might even be a deal breaker. Dr. Jess Carbino is here to break down why chores can boost connection and kill the ick. She also has simple ways couples can keep the spark and the counters spotless. Welcome, Dr. Jess. Big picture first. How much do shared chores really matter for a healthy relationship?
Shared chores are critical for a healthy relationship. We often think about chores as being this act of drudgery, but in reality, it can really bring joy to couples and to households, which is something that 7th Generation, a bio-based cleaning product company, understood and found that over 85% of Americans believe that cleaning can be an act of love.
What is it about doing a chore unprompted that so many people find attractive?
Doing chores unprompted is really a very attractive quality in a romantic partner because it's a selfless act and it's something that helps build and foster intimacy and trust in a romantic partnership. In fact, 75% of individuals polled said that they would rather share chores with their romantic partner than receive a gift.
You say cleaning can be a sign of respect. What does that look like in everyday life?
Cleaning can be a real signal of respect for individuals. We actually found that 8 in 10 individuals believe that when their romantic partners maintained a clean household, that they were showing them that they respected them.
Okay, let's talk the icks. What are some of the most common cleanliness turnoffs you're seeing?
Well, we know that the icks related to cleaning can be pretty universal, but I would say that messy dishes and dirty dishes and laundry can really be at the top of the list. And we know that, in fact, it can foster significant friction in a relationship to the point where 1 in 3 individuals said that they broke off a romantic partnership because their partner was so messy.
Well, where can viewers learn more and find tips about the products you've recommended?
To learn more, please go to 7thgeneration.com.
Excellent. Dr. Jess Carbino, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Kelsey Hart has been making serious moves in country music, earning millions of streams, touring across the country, and writing songs for some of the biggest names in his genre. With his new single, Something That You'd Miss, it shows a little more personal, reflective side and is the follow-up to his high-energy hit Fireworks. We're catching up with him today ahead of the release. Welcome to the show, Kelsey. How are you, my friend?
I'm great, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, Something That You'd Miss. It tells a vivid story. What's the backstory to this song?
Yeah, so it's a song I was a part of writing last year that one of my buddies, we were on a songwriting retreat, and he just started telling a story, kind of about a situation that he had been in that was similar to this, where wasn't anything, that really happened, bad in the relationship. The girl just, she had moved a long way from her hometown to be with him, and just decided, it just wasn't for her, so that's where the story stemmed from. And, he just said, I guess if I was more like her hometown, then I'd be something she'd miss too, and so that's where the song started. And, you hope that's something you never have to go through, but that's, the reality for some folks. So,
In your debut, Life With You, it really connected with some fans. How does fan feedback tend to influence the direction you take with new music?
Yeah, no, Life With You was certainly, it's really cool getting to hear all the stories on that. And I think anytime we step into a room, you're hoping to write something that people can hang on to and kind of put to their life. And we're not just telling our own stories. We're trying to, every time we're writing songs, we're trying to help tell other people's stories. So that's the goal every time.
And I always like to ask musicians and artists about their influences. And it's not the same way about like, hey, who are your favorite influences? Outside of the music genre, what type of other art or artists, could be actors, writers, authors, filmmakers, what other artists out there kind of inspire you and your work when you go in to write music?
Oh man, as far outside of the music business, I mean, if I'm the first person that came to mind was Will Ferrell. And I just think of, a guy like like him, is, the comedian, the, funny guy, like not taking life so serious all the time. I think that's just a good approach to have, so I think the lightheartedness of a guy like him, is crucial.
And you've written for other artists as well. What is different about creating music for yourself versus writing for somebody else?
Yeah, I mean, we're always, kind of trying to write in the direction of what I'm doing, because I don't have a ton of time to write anymore. But it also just, at the end of the day, we can't record every single song that we're part of writing. So we'll just kind of break them down and see what we think, could possibly work well for another artist. And so I don't know if I think a ton about the differences of it. It's more of, kind of writing in my direction and then taking it and seeing what we can do.
So where does inspiration strike most when you're like writing new music? Are you like in the shower and realize, hey, I've been humming this little song, or out on tour with a guitar strumming around? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it just kind of comes from just daily life, and sometimes hearing somebody say something. It can really even come from a conversation, the way somebody says something, or you can pull titles and ideas from anything, and probably my favorite way to write a song is just going in to the room with a good idea, something that we can really, write around. So.
And you've been out touring. Is there a recent moment or some like fan connection or anything that when you're on stage that kind of stuck with you lately?
It's every night, it's kind of the same, with Life with You. After we'll play Life with You as our last song, or one of our last songs, and then we'll do the meet and greets at the end of the night. And it's always the coolest part to me is just getting to talk to the fans and hear, their personal stories about, how the songs, have affected them and stuff. So I think every night that's probably my favorite part.
Kelsey Hart's new single, Something That You'd Miss, is out Friday, August 22nd. You can find it on all the streaming platforms and get some of his tour info over at kelseyhart.com. Hey, Kelsey, thanks for joining me this morning.
Hey, thanks for having me, buddy. Appreciate you.
What would drive a teenager to help one of America's most notorious serial killers? For the first time in 50 years, Elmer Wayne Henley Jr. breaks his silence about his role in the crimes of Dean Coral, known as the Candyman Killer in The Serial Killer's Apprentice. Criminologist Dr. Catherine Ramsland takes us inside Henley's mind in his chilling partnership with Coral, revealing the complex mix of fear, manipulation, and choices that led to the largest known mass murder in U.S. history at the time. Dr. Ramsland joins us now. Welcome to the show, Dr. Ramsland.
Well, I'm happy to be here, Dan. Thank you for having me.
Okay, you spent more than 60 hours speaking with Elmer Wayne Henley Jr. What was your first impression when you began these conversations?
We first started with letters. My impression was that he was very intelligent, self-reflective, and willing to explore this with me. And then when we talked by phone, he was very remorseful. He was horrified by the things he did, but he did not want me to try to persuade him that he didn't have responsibility in this.
And this case has haunted Houston for decades. What makes Henley's perspective so important to understanding the full story?
Because the sense of what people have of him is from a book that was written 50 years ago, based on pretty much on police reports and a few family interviews. No one talked to Henley. No one talked to anyone who knew Henley and really had not gotten his story. He had attempted to tell it a couple of times, but it was dismissed or distorted. And this is the first time he's really taking a deep dive into his story. He wants the truth of what happened to him out there, in part to help protect kids today and prevent this kind of thing in the future.
And Dean Coral was known as the Candyman Killer. How did he manage to evade suspicion for so long while committing so many crimes?
Coral was what we know as a successful predator. He understood how to groom a whole community to believe he was just a nice guy, a big brother, someone who could take kids to the beach and the movies and whatnot and take over some of the parental responsibilities, and everybody really liked him. So his ability to persuade people that he was just a normal guy while he was looking for, among the teenage boys in the neighborhood, he was looking for victims that he could torture, rape, and kill. And so he was successful at that for 3 years until Henley himself put a stop to it after being his accomplice, but put a stop to it by killing him.
And you explore the dynamic between Henley and Coral. What did you learn about the psychological forces at play in that relationship?
I looked a lot at the differences among types of accomplices and what we call the murdar, how the predator looks for the kind of person that could partner with him. In vulnerable kids, how they can bait them and manipulate them into doing things they wouldn't ordinarily do. So it was a kind of a master dominant submission relationship. It was coerced and groomed, and Coral knew exactly what he was doing. He had learned from others. He apparently was part of a larger network of traffickers. He certainly studied their ways, whether he participated much with them or not. And so he used that to groom first David Brooks and then Wayne Henley.
And beyond the true crime aspect, what do you hope viewers will take away from this documentary?
I hope they take away that predators are more sophisticated today than ever. Kids are more vulnerable because they're more willing to share private details and to meet people that they just met online who are complete strangers. So we're hoping that kids who get into trouble, who are pulled into such situations, are listened to when they try to get help, because that's something that Wayne did not have when he tried to get help.
Is there anything that we could learn from the situation and use for future?
I think the important thing is to understand how predators groom the community into believing that they're wonderful people. If there are complaints, or if there is the suggestion that they are doing something with kids, like they don't want other adults around when they're with kids. And so we have a whole list of guidelines in the book about this. We definitely want people to understand that there are things to be on the lookout. They are signals, and that they need to pay attention to them.
The Serial Killer's Apprentice premieres on Investigation Discovery, and it also streams on Max. Don't miss this unprecedented look into one of the most disturbing criminal partnerships in American history. Dr. Ramsland, thanks for joining me this morning.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
It's one thing to imagine an alien invasion, but it's another to build a show that makes you feel like you're living through it. Invasion is back for season 3 on Apple TV+, and this time the fight takes us straight into the hearts of the alien mothership. From X-Men to The Martian, Simon Kinberg knows how to tell a big cinematic story, and he's here to talk about raising the stakes, bringing characters together, and what we can expect for this next wave when it hits. Welcome to the show, Simon. How are you?
I'm really good, thanks. Happy to be here.
All right, so this season brings all of the perspectives from like the past seasons together for the first time. How did that shift change and the tone and the pace of the show?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I was most excited about, really from the beginning of conceiving the show, was that eventually all of these different strands of stories and characters would come together. And it took us, 2 full seasons, and now into our 3rd season, to finally bring these characters together, because they started in all these disparate places, from Asia to the US to Europe, to Northern Africa. And finally, all of our main characters are sort of smashed together on a mission that adds a different level of stakes and in some ways sort of action and velocity to the season 2. The show has been picking up pace as the seasons go on. The first season was kind of like Act 1 of a movie, and the second season was Act 2, where things start to pick up, and then this is really the sort of big clash of like an Act 3 of a film.
And Invasion always has these balanced global, has always these different personal stories from around the world. How do you make sure those human moments will shine in such a big sci-fi setting?
Well, for me, the opportunity and the challenge of the show is to keep it really intimate while also making it really, massive in scale and scope. And the movies that I watched growing up, whether it was E.T. or Star Wars, or Back to the Future or Terminator, they always did a really good job of balancing those two things, the epic and the intimate. And so I just look to those as sort of my North Stars when I'm trying to find the right balance for the show.
And you've got some familiar faces back and some new cast members. What can you tell us about the dynamics between the characters this season?
Well, this season is just completely different than the previous 2 seasons, because all these characters come together for the first time. And so they're having to learn to be a team. The main characters that people who've watched the first couple of seasons hopefully have come to love and have followed, this is the first time that they're really interacting and really forced to become like a little family to survive. And so the dynamic is completely different because we have all of these people from different parts of the world coming together on a singular mission to try to save the world.
And for fans who've been with Invasion from the start, and maybe for those who are jumping in now, what's one of the things that you hope is a good takeaway from season 3?
I think the thing that's the biggest and coolest thing about season 3 is that we have all these characters coming together for the first time. That you see, if you've been watching, and even if you haven't, you see these characters from completely different worlds, who some of whom don't even fully speak the same languages, certainly from completely different cultures and backgrounds. They're all smashed together on a mission that's critical to the survival of the human race, and so the stakes are super high for these characters. And it's a chance for them to get to know each other in the way that we as audience have come to know them.
Simon Kimber, thanks for joining us this morning. Invasion Season 3 is streaming now on Apple TV Plus, with new episodes dropping every Friday through October 24th. Dive in, catch up, and see what happens when the fight to save humanity goes straight to the mothership. Hey, thanks for joining us, Simon.
Thank you for having me.
So what happens when law enforcement uncovers a plot bigger than anyone ever imagined? Well, that's the premise of Countdown, Prime Video's edge-of-your-seat action series. Two of the stars join us today. That's Elliot Knight and Uli Latukefu, who are here to give us a behind-the-scenes look towards the explosive finale. Welcome, Elliot and Uli. How are you two?
Hey, good. Good, man. Good. How are you?
I've been doing okay. I've been checking out the show, and it moves fast, and it keeps viewers hooked. What was it about Countdown that made you both want to be part of it?
I'll go first. A combination of things. There was an opportunity to work in this genre, to being able to work in Los Angeles, which is great, and 3, we'd just come off the back of a strike, so every bit helps.
Yeah, exactly. And also, to work with Derek Haas, he has such an amazing track record of the shows that he's made, and there is a really beautiful element of this show that's like, honoring those classic fun action movies and that whole genre. To do that in TV in sort of a new age and for a new audience is really an honor, and that's been a lot of fun too.
Elliot, your character is caught up in this secret task force. How did you prepare for that role and the intensity that it brings?
I think focusing on the stakes, what the real world stakes would be with what the task force are focused on. This is a deadly threat to the city of Los Angeles that could wipe it off of the map. It's something that should be unbelievable, but there are people in real life who have to consider those consequences. And so I think making sure that as the character, he's focused on making sure that does not happen, but also there is fun to be had, and you still have to be a person to do that job. It can't be dire all the time. So finding that balance of dire stakes, but also explosive fun as you go along has really made for an incredible ride, and hopefully one that translates on screen for everyone to enjoy as well.
Uli, you've had such a wide range of roles from Young Rock to Black Adam. What stands out about your experience on Countdown?
Oh man, we had so much fun making this show, and especially given the genre, it's things can get a little intense, on the show, but it didn't feel like that at all for this. And working with this team has been amazing. Being able to work in LA, I live in LA now, and it really has been a dream come true. I'm sure Elliot will echo the same sentiment. In terms of, I've never been in a cop show like this, an American cop show, which was always fun. It's always kind of been on my bucket list to tick off, and hopefully we can continue to do that for years to come, because we've had a ball making it, and I think the show's great.
And the cast, it includes some big names like Jensen Ackles and Eric Dane. What's it been like collaborating with them on set?
Jensen's amazing and a great leader for our team. He brings not just such skill to the role, and he really is Mark Meacham in so many ways, which is so fun to watch him play out, but also he's led the fun and the camaraderie that we have on set. He's made sure that we all know how lucky and grateful we are to be doing this, and to make sure we enjoy every moment. And honestly, even like Eric, he has a much more somber role in the show, but he brings his own personality and element of fun to work as well, and it really adds to the joy we get from doing this job. And yeah, and then I think the product on screen is clear. This is a group of very, very talented people, and especially the big stars amongst that too. It's amazing to get to share in that with them.
Yeah, agreed.
Hey, I want to thank you too for hanging out with me today. Catch new episodes of Countdown every Wednesday, only on Prime Video, and don't miss the season finale streaming September 3rd. Hey, I want to thank you too for joining me today.
Appreciate it, brother.
Thank you so much.
I've been a fan of our next guest for many, 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 many years. And it's not just the music. I love the clever way he tells stories through his songs. Now, he's kind of bringing that sharp writing to the Peanuts gang in Snoopy Presents a Summer Musical, the first Peanuts musical in over 30 years. He's the Emmy-nominated composer and producer behind the special, and he joins us today. Let's welcome Mr. Ben Folds. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. Thank you. Good to be here.
All right, so this is the first Peanuts musical in 35 years. What excited you most about being part of such a milestone project?
Well, I mean, I love being able to write inside a character. I love that it doesn't have to be me. And because that's what I normally do. But I really see enough of myself in Charlie Brown, and that's the voice that I was writing for in this. I wrote the 3 Charlie Brown songs essentially. And yeah, I mean, what's exciting to me is just to have a world and an inspiration that's thoughtful to sit inside, and you know, the Peanuts is a thoughtful and I won't say slow, but it's not, you know, it's not such an incredibly caffeinated world, you know.
And the story, it captures the magic of summer camp and you know, friendships that come with it. How did you approach writing songs that fit into that world?
Well, they're very grown-up thoughts. You know, the first song, I pick up writing the songs from the 3rd song out, and that finds Charlie Brown in quite a hole. He's bummed because camp is going to be no more. They're going to mow it down so they can put some malls up, and he's coming to grips with that. So, I mean, anything that is, you know, rather disappointing or sentimental, he's reflecting on all that was before, how much time had been spent by so many generations before. He's mature enough to get and really understand it. And he's also mature enough to think about how he will see things when he's 50, 60 years old. So that's what I put in the song. I just allowed him to be everywhere from 10 to 60 years old inside the song. I mean, that's some freedom, you know.
Well, he is the first kid that does have a pretty solid midlife crisis constantly, so I do like that.
Completely. That's exactly him. Yeah.
And you've had such a wide career from performing and touring and producing. How different was it creating music for these like iconic characters?
You know, I grew up with it, so it's like creating for me. You know, like it's creating for me without having to be completely my story. And you know, I've made a lot of albums, and they're generally about me.
Yeah.
So it's great. You know, it's like using the chops that you get by writing a lot of songs, but also I was able to be inspired by it because I was inspired by the story. And I know that kids think about things very deeply because I know that I did, and you know that you did, you know, and when we give them something to think about, you know, it don't write down to them. And that was a great, you know, that's a great part of it. You don't always remember not to write down to people. If you're writing, you know, like kind of more broader pop sense, I don't know if it's quite as clear that your audience is always as intelligent, but with kids, my assumption is they understand everything.
I kind of feel that too. How much pressure is there for writing for such a major project and iconic character? Is there a lot of pressure there?
I didn't find it pressuresome, really. I found it easier because everything is excellent. The story is excellent. The animation is gorgeous. It's a world that we all know. There's no question about where you are. So I would find it pressuresome if I had to orient myself into a world that I didn't understand. and I might have to go back to the writers and say, what the hell does this mean? But that wasn't the case with this. This was like everyone was on the same page, and the page was initially, the architect was Charles Schultz, and it was a brilliant piece of art that keeps making itself again, so.
I think you're the perfect pick for this story. So thank you very much for being part of that. You can catch Snoopy Presents a Summer Musical streaming now on Apple TV+. Gather the family, grab some popcorn, and sing along with Snoopy and the gang. Ben Folds, thanks for joining me with this morning.
Thank you.
If you got little ones at home, chances are you already know this bright and orange glasses and the blue tie. It's Blippi. He's been sparking curiosity for kids everywhere, and now he's hitting the road for the very first time with his brand new YouTube series, Blippi, the ultimate road trip. He's bringing friends, music, and plenty of fun along the way. So joining us now, it's the honor to have Mr. Blippi here. Hi, Blippi.
Hi, Dan. Thanks for having me on the show.
I'm glad to have you here. All right. This is your first time taking a big road trip in a series. What inspired you to go cross country for this brand new adventure?
Oh, well, I think it's really exciting for kids to see me in their hometown, so then they can go visit the places that I have been. And this is the first time I've also taken a cross-country road trip where I started in New York City and I hurried all the way to Los Angeles to meet my best friend Mika to play some fun games in the Be Like Blippi games. And along the way, I visited Nashville, Philadelphia, New York City, Los Angeles, and met a lot of new friends.
And you've had some pretty cool celebrity friends join you. Kane Brown, Jordan Fisher, Christina Tosi. What was it like teaming up with some of them for some of these fun challenges?
Whoa, it was so fun. And let me tell you, Kane Brown's family is so good at Floor is Lava. I was so impressed. Yeah, and Jordan Fisher, he taught me some cool dance moves that I have never tried before. Oh, and Christina Tosi and we baked some of the best cookies ever. Well, actually, Dan, I don't know if you've ever heard of a compost cookie. Instead of a regular cookie with chocolate chips, a compost cookie is all kinds of things like salty fish crackers and pretzels and potato chips. I think there might have been like a spicy ingredient too, but I don't remember.
Was it good though? Was it good? Did you eat it?
Oh, yeah, it was so good because it still had a lot of sugar in it, but it was like salty and sweet, and it was a flavor explosion. It was fun.
So the whole campaign is about curiosity and learning. What does it mean to be like Blippi, and how can kids and families bring that into their everyday lives?
Well, there are lots of ways you can be like me. I think being curious is the biggest, and to be curious is to try something new and to explore and make an adventure. And different ways you can do that is you can move like me by having a fun dance party. You can play like me by maybe playing a new game with your friends or your family. You can dress like me by maybe wearing your favorite colors, because I like to wear mine. And you can explore like me by going somewhere new with your family. You can also learn just like me by asking a lot of questions.
You can catch all new episodes of Blippi, the Ultimate Road Trip, streaming now on YouTube. And don't miss your chance to join in on Be Like Blippi Week events happening all around the country. Just go to youtube.com/Blippi for more information. Blippi, thanks for joining me this morning, my friend.
Oh, thanks so much, Dan. Thanks, everyone.
That's it for Rise and Unwind TV. We have a YouTube channel at Rise Unwind. And until next week, that was Rise and Unwind.